you're familiar with Spurgeon, a well-known English, Baptist
Yeah.
pastor, he said, and I love this quote, discernment is not knowing the difference between right and wrong. Discernment is knowing the difference between right and almost right. A
Yeah.
5-year-old knows the difference between right and wrong, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you've got kids, right? Yeah, your
Hmm.
kids should know the difference between right and wrong. That's not discernment. It's knowing the difference
Wow.
between right and almost right. So Preston says a lot of right things that, Satan comes as an angel of light. He's not just to come with all lies. Satan tempted Jesus with what? Scripture, truth. He just twisted it just a little bit. So I started doing churches, and it was just a mess. I took a deep dive. I know people out there, they don't have the time to do that. I've done that. Rosario has done that. Like, his books are tempered down. When you look at his podcast, when you see when he speaks that he doesn't always put up, it really is just a mess. It's duplicitous. Here's what it comes down to. Everyone thinks that we're just arguing over words. Is it gay or not? That's just like the tertiary fourth, fifth, sixth issue. The main issue is duplicity, and it's leading people astray and not calling sin what it is. Since then, I've had a call like that, or invitations like 30, 40 different times. In addition, I've had youth pastors who will say, we started his video series called Christian Sexuality that has, people that should be respected, like Frances Chan, Jackie Hill Perry, which, she has done some things that are,
Yeah, I know.
talk about white fragility and stuff, and not very helpful. Rosario and I kind of mentored her for a little while, and when she was kind of going in that direction of kind of trying to take this third way, and sort of, Preston and Rosario were like, you should not go down that route. She just ghosted us, which is fine. I mean, I don't, if you come to me to mentor, that's fine. But if you don't, you don't want my advice anymore, that's fine.
Yeah.
Rosario as well. But youth pastors, actually, it was just 2 weeks ago, a youth pastor said, we tried his stuff and it was the biggest mistake I've made. We got to the point. Preston always starts, I hold to an orthodox view of sexuality. Okay, why do you have to say that? I never say that. Everything that I say, don't contradict that. He says that because when he begins the other stuff after that, it's a big question mark. For example, around in the middle, Greg Coles gives his testimony. I'm a gay Christian, and this is exactly what the youth pastor told me 2 weeks ago. He said there was a worse mistake. We were going through this video series. A lesbian who was not a Christian came, just happened to come to our youth group. We watched this video, and when it happened, she went like this. See, God says it's okay to be gay. They stopped it. They aborted. They aborted that video series, and they had to actually come back together and said, our church does not believe that. I've actually had dozens of parents of adult kids who said, Preston Sprinkle says it's okay to be trans and Christian. It's okay to be lesbian and Christian. This is so important because we're not talking about quibbling over words. We're talking about truth. Seth, this verse from Jesus' own words, Matthew 18, verse 6, where it says, whoever causes one of these little ones who believe in me to sin, what does it say? It would be better for what? A great millstone to be fastened around his neck and thrown into the sea. I don't want no millstone to be tied around my neck. And so this is very important, things, so, is it, and he's responded, because I've made, and people are like, you need to debate him. I don't debate people who are duplicitous. I did that before 10 years ago where we would have, this different size, I debated Justin Lee and all these different people. You know what?
Really?
It caused more confusion because it just, people hunkered down in their positions. I'm not presenting another side. This is God's truth. God's truth is God's truth. There's not different positions. So that I think that's really important. But he said, I think there's this quote. He said that, he disagrees with my understanding that because I talked about celibate partnerships, what we're just talking about, that it's affirming gay marriage, which I've got some receipts here. He even said, he says any relationship that mimics marriage is, that is not good, he will say, and you shouldn't do that. I think he also said deep friendships. This is in kind of a response. He says deep friendships can happen, but if it mimics marriage, then then that's wrong. No friendship should be romantic, sexual. Okay, so is that? He even said, "I'm not side B," which is so ironic because he's discipled by, he says Wes Hill is his mentor. Another
Whoa.
mentor that he has is Leslie Hudson Reynolds, who
Who's
identifies as
that?
a trans Christian, works for Bill Henson's group called, I can't remember the name of his group, but he's out in the East Coast. So I mean, you can't
Wow.
say that you're Posture Shift. That's the name of his group. Also, very very side B.